Yo, what's up guys, it's Top 7. Imagine this. The world's gone zombie crazy, right? You're sprinting through the streets, dodging flesh-eating maniacs, and bam! You find a place to hide. Sounds perfect, right? Wrong. What if I told you that your so-called safe haven could actually be a death trap? That's right, some hiding spots are basically like ringing the dinner bell for a horde of hungry zombies. So in this video, we're diving deep into the 7 worst places to hide during a zombie apocalypse. We're talking about those spots that seem like a good idea at first, but are actually a one-way ticket to becoming zombie kibble. Stick around to the end because I'm about to drop some serious knowledge bombs on the absolute worst place to hide, Alright, first up we've got basements. They might seem like a good idea at first, but let's dive deeper. Now, I know what you're thinking. Basements, Jimmy? They're dark, they're underground, seems like a solid zombie dodging plan. And yeah, at first glance they might seem like a good idea, a place to hide away from the chaos above, but trust me, you couldn't be more wrong. Basements are a recipe for disaster. Here's the thing about basements, they're basically zombie traps. Once you're in, getting out is a whole different story. Most basements have those small, creepy windows, right? They barely let any light in. Zombies crowd around those windows, blocking out the light and making it impossible to see what you're up against. It's like being in a dark, claustrophobic box. Plus, basements usually only have one way in or out, that same creepy staircase you just snuck down. Not exactly ideal for a quick escape. Guess what? That makes you a sitting duck. You're cornered with no way out. One entrance, a horde of zombies banging to get in, you're trapped. It's a nightmare scenario. And don't even get me started on the whole dark and damp thing. Basements are often wet, moldy, and just plain unpleasant. Do you really want to be stuck down there, in the dark, breathing that in while a zombie horde is trying to break down the door? It's a death trap. Instead of holing up in a basement, opt for higher ground with multiple escape routes. It's a much safer bet. We're talking second floors, rooftops, places where you can see the danger coming and actually have a chance to make a run for it. Visibility is key. Remember, in a zombie apocalypse, mobility is your best friend. Stay alert, stay mobile, and stay alive. Alright, next up we've got attics. At first, attics seem like a good idea, right? I mean, they're high up, out of reach, like a zombie-free fortress of solitude. But trust me, you don't want to get caught dead in an attic when the undead come knocking. First of all, attics are notoriously difficult to access. You're talking rickety ladders, narrow staircases, all while trying to be quiet as a mouse so you don't attract unwanted attention. Now imagine doing that with a horde of flesh-eating monsters on your tail. Not exactly a recipe for success, right? And speaking of attracting unwanted attention, have you ever noticed how attics are like magnets for weird noises? Creaking floorboards, howling wind, those weird scratching sounds that make you think there's something living in the walls? So, instead of turning yourself into a zombie buffet in a dusty old attic, find yourself a secure location with clear visibility and multiple exits. Let's talk about cars for a second. I get it, cars seem like the ultimate escape vehicle in a zombie apocalypse, right? You can hop in, lock the doors, and drive away from the chaos. But here's the thing. Cars are actually one of the worst places you can be when the undead start walking the earth. First of all, cars are noisy. Like really noisy. Every time you start the engine, honk the horn, or even slam the door, you're basically sending out a zombie bat signal. Congratulations. You just attracted every brain-hungry monster within a 5-mile radius. And speaking of attracting zombies, have you ever noticed how much those flesh-eating fiends love to flip cars? One good shove from a small horde and your escape vehicle is suddenly an overturned coffin. And let's be real, no one wants to be trapped in a metal box with a bunch of zombies trying to claw their way in. Instead of relying on a car, focus on finding a secure location with strong defenses and enough resources to last. Chapter 4, Closets, where fear hides and dies. Okay, let's talk closets. Now I know what you're thinking. Closets, Jimmy? Really? They're small, they're cramped, they're basically the opposite of a good hiding spot, and you're right, they are. But you'd be surprised how many people think a closet is going to save them when the zombie apocalypse hits. Here's the thing about closets. They're like the go-to hiding spot for every horror movie character who's about to meet a gruesome end. And there's a reason for that. Closets offer zero protection from a determined zombie. They're usually made of flimsy wood or drywall which a zombie could tear through like it's nothing. And don't even get me started on the whole no escape route thing. Once you're in a closet, you're in there. There's no back door, no secret passage, no magical portal to Narnia. Just you, your fear, and a horde of hungry zombies banging on the door. So, instead of cramming yourself into a closet and hoping for the best, find a more secure location with multiple exits and some actual defenses. Chapter 5. Bathrooms. Don't get caught with your pants down. Alright, let's talk bathrooms. Now I know what you're thinking. Bathrooms? Really, Jimmy? Yes, bathrooms. They might seem like an odd topic, but trust me, it's crucial. They're small, they're gross, and they usually have a window that's too small to escape through, and you'd be right. But there's more to it. But believe it or not, some people actually think that a bathroom is a good place to hide from a zombie horde. Let's break down why that's a terrible idea. First of all, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the toilet in the bathroom. It's not just a fixture, it's a liability. Bathrooms are full of, well, human waste. And that waste isn't just unpleasant, it's a beacon for trouble. And let's be real, zombies are attracted to smells. The stronger the odor, the more likely they are to come sniffing around. So, congrats. You've basically created a zombie beacon, luring them right to your hiding spot with the sweet scent of your, business. Not the best strategy, right? And speaking of attracting zombies, have you ever noticed how most bathrooms only have one way in or out? It's a trap waiting to happen. That's right, we're talking about that tiny little door that you can barely squeeze through when you're not running for your life. Imagine the chaos when you're in a hurry. Now imagine trying to escape a horde of zombies through that same door. It's a recipe for disaster. But even if you manage to avoid the zombies and the, unpleasant smells, there's still the issue of supplies. Bathrooms are notoriously understocked. Bathrooms aren't exactly known for their abundance of food, water, or weapons. You're not going to find much to sustain you in there. So, instead of barricading yourself in a bathroom and hoping for a miracle, which is highly unlikely, find a more strategic location with multiple exits, access to resources, and a little bit of breathing room. Your survival might just depend on it. Chapter 6. Under the bed, worst idea ever. Now let's talk about under the bed. I know, it's the classic childhood hiding spot. But in a zombie apocalypse, it's basically a death sentence. First of all, let's be real, zombies are not known for their intelligence. They're not going to be fooled by a pair of feet sticking out from under the bed. They're going to see those feet, and they're going to know there's a tasty human snack hiding just out of reach. And speaking of out of reach, have you ever tried fighting off a zombie from a lying down position? It's not easy. You've got zero leverage, you're surrounded by dust bunnies and lost socks, and the only thing you can really do is kick your feet and hope for the best. So, instead of reliving your childhood nightmares, find a hiding spot that offers some actual protection. Chapter 7. The Supermarket. The Ultimate Zombie Buffet. Alright guys, we've arrived at the moment of truth. The most treacherous hiding spot in a zombie apocalypse is the supermarket. I know, it seems like a no-brainer. Food, water, shelter, what more could you ask for? But trust me on this one, supermarkets are basically zombie magnets. Think about it. Everyone heads there for supplies, making it a prime location for both survivors and zombies alike. Supermarkets are filled with everything a zombie craves. Fresh meat, delicious snacks, and enough sugary drinks to fuel a horde of brain-hungry monsters for weeks. It's like a never-ending feast for them. It's like ringing the dinner bell and then tying yourself to a chair in the middle of the buffet table. The allure of easy food and shelter is just too strong. And speaking of buffet tables, have you ever been inside a supermarket during a rush? It's a madhouse, it's crowded, it's chaotic, and there are shopping carts everywhere. Now add zombies into that mix. Now imagine that same scenario, but with zombies. The chaos would be unimaginable. You'll be tripping over spilled groceries, dodging shopping carts, and trying to outrun a horde of flesh-eating fiends, all while desperately searching for an exit that isn't blocked by a wall of toilet paper. And let's not forget the narrow aisles that make escape even more difficult. But even if you manage to avoid the initial onslaught of zombies, the danger doesn't end there. Supermarkets are designed to keep people inside, not out. Security gates, locked doors, and barricades can turn into deadly traps, so unless you're planning on becoming the next zombie buffet, avoid supermarkets at all costs. Your survival might just depend on it. So there you have it, guys. The 7 deadliest hiding spots in a zombie apocalypse. Remember, when the world goes to hell in a handbasket, you need to be prepared. Choose your hiding spot wisely and don't be afraid to get creative. We're talking about building a zombie-proof fortress, rigging up some awesome traps, and maybe even training a pet zombie to fight off all the other zombies. And if all else fails, run like hell.